What is up, everybody? My name is Christian Baker, and today we are talking about AMI guitars and their OMT 1E. So a little bit of background about myself before we dive into this. I'm a worship leader. I've been helping lead worship for 6 to 7 years now, and the one thing that consistently gets in the way is gear. Gear is expensive, and we can easily spend way too much money on it. I started off just playing guitar in our teams and in different bands, and went from just guitar and amp to a multi-effects to full pedal board and nicer amp, selling all that for another multi-effects that was nicer, and it just keeps going. And so when I had to start leading worship myself, I didn't have an acoustic electric to start playing, so I would lead from electric, which was uncomfortable. And when I finally saved up enough money, from the money I saved, a tax return, and my dad helping me, I ended up buying a Taylor. And as much as I love that guitar, and I still play it, and it's still probably my most used guitar, I have to be honest that it's more than I would have liked to spend at that time. It was over $1,200 before tax. So I had to save up all that. I earned some of it back through a tax return, like I said, but it's a lot of money. While this is only around $600, I have to say, if I could do it again, I'd go with this. Now, before this gets too crazy and we get too much in depth with this is a sponsored video. I've been in touch with the AMI for a while now, and I've been wanting to check out their guitars for much, much longer. So yes, they gave me a deal on this, but also I spent my own money on this. And all these opinions are my own. Anything that you hear me say, AMI has not told me to say. They're not going to see this video before it goes up. These are 100% my thoughts, the good, and yes, there are a couple bad. Now, the reason for doing this video is, like I said before, gear's expensive, and I have many friends both in the church, just touring musicians, heck, some are recording musicians that just need something with a little more versatility that they can both plug in and just mic up. And so I've been looking for affordable gear that I can recommend to my friends and fellow musicians. And I think this is the way to go. Now, starting to dive into this, if you see, it is not an unfamiliar shape. This very much looks like guitars of old. And with this, you can see, with that familiar body style, it is an orchestra model. And you get some standard appointments with that, being 25.4 inch scale length. We've got an 1 3/4 nut at the top. It's a little wider than what I'm used to, but comfortable neck, makes you feel right at home. We've got a Sitka spruce top, along with tilia back and sides, and a micarta fingerboard, which is very, very similar to ebony. Along with it, we have a bone nut and saddle, and we have AMI branded tuners that look a lot like Grover's, in my opinion. Now, moving on to the mahogany neck, we're going to get to issue number 1, which I also think is the biggest. So it actually has a scarf joint way high up on the neck, actually into the headstock, right underneath the bottom row of tuners. And the reason that this is an issue is, I don't know if it's just this guitar specifically or it's just the design, but the other night during our worship night, I had a small ding on the headstock on the side of the piano. It did not even chip paint. You don't see any marks there. It was that light. And me and the other musicians could hear it chip and crack along that scarf joint. So as little as it is, it looks like it might just be finish, or honestly might be it pulling apart. We don't know. I haven't got it professionally checked out. Has not affected playability or sound or anything like that, but I feel like I need to point out that one negative. Now, jumping straight back into positives, I don't know if y'all can see this, but how beautiful is this guitar. Again, only around the $600 mark. The rosette around the sound hole, gorgeous. The fretboard, gorgeous. The fit and finish around this entire guitar is gorgeous. In all honesty, I love it. I love how it looks. And after I got it, wife came home, she saw it, and the first thing that she said was, "That's stunning." And that sat with me because I'm going to keep repeating this. Around a $600 guitar. This looks 10 times better than a lot of guitars sitting 2 to 3 times that price point. But along with that, a pretty guitar does not make a great sounding guitar. So it does not say on their website, but I'm assuming that the tilia back and sides are laminate. Just at that price point, I think that's what you need to do. But it doesn't resonate massively. It doesn't have a whole ton of low end, even for an orchestra model. I've played quite a few, and this has the least amount of low end. Is that terrible? Is that great? It's opinions. Now, like I said earlier, this is an acoustic electric. It does have an undersaddle pickup. I know there's some controversy about how good or bad those sound, but at this price point, it's the cheapest you can get in. And it is a no-name model Fishman, so I wish I could have found that model so I could share it with you guys, but it just says Fishman on it. I know no more about it. So enough of me talking. First off, we're going to hear this thing mic'd up and with the DI in. I'm going to play the same passage a few times. One where you're hearing just the mic, one where you're hearing just the DI, bounce back and forth a little bit. There is going to be just a tiny bit of post-processing just to make sure that the levels stay even enough. Other than that, everything's going to stay flat and uncolored. And now with that, let's hear both mixed together. And then I'm even going to throw a little bit of EQ and compression just to show how good this can sound. Okay, what the heck? You guys heard that too. This is such a great sounding guitar for the money. As long as you have just a little bit of compression, a little bit of EQ, and then I did put a tiny bit of reverb on there just to make it sound a little bit more full. It sounds so good. But what I really think shows the true colors of a guitar is how it sounds live. So I mentioned earlier Worship Night, and I actually played this guitar the entire night. So what you're going to hear is the full mix that we came up with, and then that's going to fade out. You're going to hear just the guitar. No, it is not a clean DI. There is the EQ and compression from the board, but I think it sounds amazing still. So let's give that a listen.
You called my name, and I ran out of that crib. Out of the darkness, into your glowing state. You called my name.
So with all of this being said, do I recommend this guitar? Heck yeah. It does have one piece of damage. Oh no, it's not the end of the world. Like I said, it has not affected playability, has not affected the sound. No one can even see it because it's on the back of the guitar. So I might give an update to this video if that does become more of an issue, but I don't think it will. It has seen some crazy colds and some crazy hots since then, and so I was expecting it to move and it hasn't. So I think we're in the clear with that. Other than that, whether you need your very first acoustic electric, you need a backup, you just want something affordable that sounds good and plays well. It's crazy how much they put into such a cheap guitar, and I hope this isn't the only AMI that I play. I'm definitely wanting to check out more of their guitars, and they've got a Dreadnought style guitar. It looks super, super attractive. Just putting it out. I want to play it. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. Maybe subscribe so you can see more videos like this. And links to AMI down in the description along with my social media. Go hit them up. Find one of their guitars. Play them. They are awesome. And until next time, see ya.